Welcome to part 2 of Starfish Degree Planner, focusing on our Ag Business program. So let me go ahead and go back into our test student. So you had already started off with building your plan with the basics of starting off with, oops, go back in here, test. And starting off with the basics, including your catalog year and your program of study. And now we want to go back into our degree plan, look at our semester courses, and to make sure that we're including all of our requirements. Okay, so our degree planner always opens up on the courses tab, which gives you the semester look. We want to go ahead and start over into our requirements tab. It's a good practice to go ahead and open up another screen, which is your catalog. Open that up to be able to compare what your options are. There's also something now called Program Mapper, and you'll find that linked into the new 2019-20 catalog. Then we want to go ahead and go through our plan to see if everything has at least been planned, so that then we can move things around and then add classes to make sure that we have 60 units. So it starts off with our major courses. We see that all of those have been planned. And then in the list A of our major courses, choosing 3 classes, that's in there. List B has 1 class. General education, we have Ag, Sales, and Communication to meet our A1 requirement. A2 is our English B1A with supplemental instruction. A3 we chose Communication 5, which is Argumentation and Debate. B1 we chose Soil, as that was also recommended by our major. Life Science we have Plant Science. That could be different. It really depends too. You want to look at the school that you plan to transfer to. Also visit assist.org to look for the classes that would be necessary for transfer. And then our lab, and then our math. Sometimes there are some schools that will prefer you to have a pre-calculus in addition to statistics. So that's probably one, especially for Cal Poly transfers. That's something that we might want to look into adding here. And then we have Area C. There are 3 courses, 1 from arts, 1 from humanities, and then the additional 1 can come from either one of those areas, C1 or C2 courses. So we chose drawing, Spanish 1, and history of California. In Area D, we have agriculture B1, which is also part of the major, U.S. history, and ag economics, which is another one that's part of the major. We'll want to make sure that we have another economics class in here as well for macroeconomics, Econ 2. Lifelong learning, we have a student development B6. If you needed extra help on study skills, that class includes help with your reading a textbook, skimming over to know how to look at headings, subheadings, chapter reviews, chapter quizzes to help you read more efficiently. Also taking notes. If you learn the Cornell note-taking method, that's very helpful. Paying attention to just writing like headings, main topics, and then complementary subtopics or things, notating when your professor is emphasizing certain areas. If they tell you that there's certain things that are going to be on the test, you want to write that down in your notes as well. Also, memory strategies, overcoming procrastination, and budgeting. There's a lot in this Student Development B6 class, so definitely very helpful. Well worth the 3 units. And we never trust anything that adds up units, because sometimes things or classes get double counted. So always print out a transcript and cross through your units to make sure that you have 60. If this were correct, it looks like we need at least 9.5 more units. So we'll definitely be mindful of that at the end. So we're going to go back to our courses tab. And in the summer, prior to our first semester, we chose the Student Development B6. So that is there. In fall, we have Intro to Ag Business, the Agriculture Communication, or I'm sorry, the Agri Computer Application. That class will teach you Microsoft Office Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access. Ag Business B6 is your agriculture, sales, and communication. As you saw on the requirements tab, that meets your communication requirement. Agriculture B1 is agriculture, environment, and society. That also includes an ed planning component, which is probably why you're listening to this right now. And then we have English B1A, and our new class has an L attached to it, meaning that there is supplemental instruction included in the class, and it does come with an extra half a unit. So for our first semester, we have 15 and a half. We want to be mindful to be sure that we are completing all of Area A. So we have our communication requirement A1, our English requirement A2, our critical thinking A3, and then our mathematics requirements all completed within our first year of attendance. In our second semester, we have a class from Area C, the A3 requirement, which is the Communication 5, Argumentation and Debate. Crops B5 completes our life science, or meets our life science requirement. History 17A is a course in our Area D, Gen Ed, and then Math 22 for our math requirement in B4 for the CSU Gen Ed. So we're doing good on meeting our requirements within the first year. In our second year, we can start off the summer with a class. Sometimes you can go ahead and take 2 classes. It really depends on if the class schedule overlaps. Maybe you'll find a class that is an early summer class and then take a second summer class. And History 18 is great for that. Economics you could take during the summer. Spanish you could take during the summer. So Ag Economics, you might want Ag Economics a little sooner. Right now we have it in the 3rd semester, and I think they like it in the first year, but talk to your instructor. Soil B1, Spanish, so right now that really is only 13 units. Okay, so we have 9 extra units to add, and so we're going to go ahead and any class that's not part of our plan, we would select under the Courses tab, Add a Course. And we're going to go ahead and choose Math B1A. Pre-Calculus 1. Now I want to make sure that I choose that either before statistics or after, but not at the same time. I don't recall where we had statistics, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that in spring 20. And now we'll look. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move this. Preferably you want to take your math classes consecutively. So I'll go ahead and put it under fall 2020. And we don't want to take Ag Economics and so it's like a micro and a macro together. You could, but we'll go ahead and move that out. And so now you would go through and find out what the campus that you're planning on transferring to prefers you to take so that you can fill in the extra 2 classes that you need in your plan. Okay, a couple of things for you to see. One is we want to make sure we go back to requirements because I see a warning up here telling us that there's 2 unmet needs. So I want to go ahead and find out what it's trying to tell me. One of those unmet needs is that we don't have enough units to equal 60. And then there's some old requirements dealing with English and math that we will ignore because those requirements have changed. Okay, so back on the bar, we'll go ahead and look at schedule. This is really nice in planning your upcoming schedule. So instead of summer, we'll arrow over to the fall. Let's just say that you hadn't registered for your fall classes yet. You picked out your times, and you'll do this for your next semester. You would look to see, like, I see some classes that perhaps, yep, they are overlapping, so I need to change these to a different time, and AGB 1 to a different time, and even actually every one of these would need to, they overlap at some point, so I would definitely need to pay attention to the timing and then reschedule those to the appropriate time. Print out the planned, or which is like your pre-planning, print that out so that you have everything available to help you speed up the process whenever you're registering. And then whenever you are ready, you can print your plan. The printing does take about 4 to 5 pages. You see there's a lot of information, and including the schedule. It actually only goes to, it prints the summer. It doesn't print out the fall on this one, so that's why you'd have to print it over in the schedule tab. But you have helpful information, your name, email, ID, so identify whose information this is, so keep it confidential, don't lose it, the general education plan that you chose, and your program of study, your catalog year, and then a semester by semester plan. So if you print out one page, that's usually perfect. And then you can find out who created your plan, when they did that, who updated it. This might be you, it might be a counselor or advisor, or your instructor in your AGB 1 class. Okay. So you are all set. I definitely would encourage you to run this by your agriculture pathway advisor and or counselor, and then make sure that you submit that to your instructor. Remember that you can always go back and revise your plan. Maybe the next semester the courses are maybe not offered at the time that you need, and so then you just can remember that you can click this class and drag it down to another semester, whichever works for you. All right, I hope you enjoyed this session and that it helps you with planning your degree planner in Starfish. Thank you.